name is Rolla Marie, and the people in the background are my noisy ass family. But if you're clicking on this, you've probably noticed some of the issues that I've noticed in the femininity community, or maybe like Rolla. There's nothing wrong. What could possibly be the problem? Well, I'm going to tell you, okay? Stay tuned. So, some of my main issues with the femininity movement on YouTube for Black women is the lack of balance. They really do tend to either be very extreme when there could be a smooth little middle road that we could all inhabit and still be feminine and still do a lot of the other things that we might also enjoy that might not be typically or classically feminine. So let's start by defining feminine. Okay? We're going to look this up. So according to the internet, Google, more specifically, the definition of feminine is having qualities or an appearance traditionally associated with women, especially delicacy, being delicate, not like food delicacy, and prettiness. Okay, and then for the synonyms, they have womanly, ladylike, soft, elegant, things of that nature. Or another definition was just the female sex or gender. My first issue is there tends to be a focus on being feminine just to purely get a man or for hypergamy's sake. And I feel like this can be a very, very flawed way of looking at it. Now, there's nothing wrong with being hypergamous. If that's your vibe, do it. If you want to get someone not beyond your means. Well, actually, yeah, get someone who lives beyond your means, do so. Be great. Do whatever you need to do. But if you believe that being feminine is the key to the locked door of hypergamy, you're going to be very disappointed. Usually, femininity is only one factor. And if you're only doing it to attract a man, it'll come through eventually because they'll either see it or they'll realize later that you aren't that feminine and you're just kind of amping it up for the time you guys were dating or courting or whatever you want to call it. And that when Bush came to show, they'd be like, nah, feminine, who, what, huh? Nah, that's not me. And you don't want to have deal with that switch up. So, if you're doing it solely for a man, you're going to be disappointed. But if you can help, get a man if you want to. But it's not the only factor. My second issue with some of the femininity videos is that I've seen some of them tell you how to dress feminine. And that's it. They just tell you how to look like you care about yourself. Which you should care about yourself and you should dress like you care about yourself, but that doesn't necessarily equate to it automatically being a feminine look, if that makes sense. So it kind of is like there's no substance to the fluff that they're giving you. For example, if I just tell you how to look very ladylike and womanly and play up the girly parts of your outfits or add girly touches to your outfits, but you lack etiquette and you can't read your room, you don't know how to be polite, you don't behave in any feminine ways, what was the point? I just made a boyish girl look more like a girl. Yeah. Some of them will neglect to show you feminine mannerisms, how to handle yourself in an argument that doesn't result in you beating someone's ass. Like, some people are starting to include it now, I will give them that, but for a while it was just kind of like, okay, you're just telling people how to look pretty, which is nice, but what else? Also, I should make this a point, but I'm not going to. There seems to not be an understanding or a general consensus about the terms high value and dusty. Because I've seen some videos where they call someone in high value dusty, which doesn't make sense. So does it mean that high value means that they just have a high income? Because that's not what I would classify as high value. But a dusty just means that they're, I don't know, because I thought a dusty was a no good, don't want to do nothing for himself, broke ass man. And I thought a high value man was someone who's going to be good to you, good to your current or future children, and make sure the household is all good and together. But it doesn't seem like that's the general consensus, and it's rather confusing because, again, you can't have a high value dusty. You can have a high income dusty. You can have a low income dusty. But a high value dusty, just, they don't work. They're actually opposites. It's not possible. Another issue that I have is that some of these videos, when they talk about other women, try to conflate femininity with high moral values or a high moral compass. So they're basically trying to say, if you're a problematic woman, you are not feminine. And that is false. Feminine is just, like I said in the definition, relating to women. That means you're, I guess you can kind of throw that into the ladylike part, but you can see a feminine woman when you know what it is. And she could be that and still be problematic. So, like they say, women with scandals, home wreckers, women with addictions, women who participate in erotica and burlesque. No, these are not feminine qualities and they are not very feminine women. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Because they can still be feminine. Feminine is just one of the qualities that can encompass some other qualities. So you can be feminine and be addicted to drugs. I wouldn't recommend it because, but you can still be feminine. You can say that you don't agree with their values. That's fair. But you can't try to take away their femininity because they still are very feminine women. Unless, of course, they're not feminine women. My last, and I feel like one of the most important points, there tends to be a lot of anti-feminist rhetoric in some of these videos when there could honestly just be a good blend. Okay, like there can be a very good and cohesive blend. It doesn't have to be one or the other. There's some parts you can agree with and some parts you don't have to agree with. Being a feminist doesn't necessarily automatically make you a misandrist. So a misandrist is someone who vehemently, like, they hate men. And I know we'll say men are trash all day, but like, they really hate men. Feminists they can be a feminist and a misandrist, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all feminists are misandrists, if that makes sense. So, as a feminine woman, you can still have that beautiful blend of knowing that you have the right to choose whatever lifestyle you want, whether that's working, whether that's staying at home, whether if that's cooking, whether that's choosing not to cook and getting Uber Eats. The whole point of feminism was that you can choose whatever you, as a woman, want to do because you have that right, because you are still human and you have those inalienable human rights. The whole Miss Andrew part where you hate men, that's optional. Now, your experience could validate why you hate men, but it's not a requirement for being feminist. You can be both, and you can love your man and be a feminist. It's perfectly fine. You can be a housewife and still be feminist. There's so many different ways to be a feminist. We can blend them, baby. You can still be super feminine and be a feminist. Just want to make that clear because that really gets under my skin when I hear them say, well, I don't want to link myself with feminism. Now, I don't want to link myself with people who use feminism as a weapon against anyone, whether that's men or telling other women that they're doing feminism wrong. Fuck that. But I do believe in feminism. It is okay. I don't like the extremes. I don't of anything. There's always a middle ground. If we stayed on that middle ground where we had balance, a lot more things would work out, in my opinion. But that's me going on a tangent. It is more than okay to be feminine for femininity's sake. Like, you just might want to be feminine. It might just be a part of who you are. I'm a typically feminine woman. I've always been this way. So if you previously haven't been feminine, but you've come from an environment that was very hostile, or you had to keep your guard up for whatever reason, it's okay. It's not like you're a bad woman or anything. You just weren't in an environment that enabled you to be feminine. So one of the key factors about femininity is you need to be in an environment that allows you to be feminine and enables you to be feminine. So if you've grown up, or not even grown up, because even if you never grew up in a certain area or in a rough area or in a rough household, as soon as you go to an area where you have to put your guard on, your femininity gets pushed to the back because you're in survival mode. So you're ready to fight whoever needs to come. You're ready to defend yourself. Like, you have no time to be soft and to be girly and to be resting and no, you need to protect yourself. So you gotta be on go. So a lot of people who have grown up in that environment tend to be very masculine, whether male or female. And for the men, of course, everybody would promote that because they want you to be more masculine and more rough and tough. But for the women who are trying to transition into being more feminine, that could be possibly why it might be a little bit harder for you, because you're used to being on the defense. And femininity grows in a safe environment where you're nurtured. You don't have to worry about basic needs. You don't have to worry about protecting yourself because you know this is a safe place. So you can relax. You can be as girly as you want. And let me say this. Being feminine doesn't make you any better of a woman, necessarily. So, I have a mother who is not very feminine at all. When I came out very girly, my mother was very perplexed because she is not girly at all. But my mother, despite her not being very feminine in any way, she's still a great woman. She's still a great mother. Still a great wife. And she's still happy with her life. You don't need femininity as this secret mystical key to fix all the problems in your life. That's what therapy is for. So, as much as I love femininity content because I am a girly girl and I love to share the girly energy, if you think it's going to be the magic pill that saves everything, it's not. It won't. It'll help in certain areas if that's what you're trying to do, but really check why you want to do this, or why, not why you want to do this. Don't feel pressured to become more feminine if that's just not your vibe. Now, if you always liked femininity and the feminine girls and the girly girls, but you just felt like it wasn't your place, of course, dive into it, girl. Just dive into it. Come on. The pool is open. We got enough room. Let's go. But don't feel like you have to, because you don't. You can live a very calm and good and fulfilled life without necessarily being feminine. You'll be fine. Alright, so that is all of the issues that I could think of for today. If you can think of some more, put some in the comments. If you disagree with me, be respectful, but also put that in the comments. If you want to hear more of my opinions about random topics, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can also press that little red button that says subscribe so you can see more videos when I post them. I don't really post consistently because I just got back in school and I'm trying to catch you. But I'm post. I got y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.